Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our new show. Our new show. We got some high speed coaches that's going to come and give you a nice word pertaining to trauma. I'm going to introduce it, and then I'm going to get out your way. Coming first, we got Coach Gray. Coach Gray, how
Hey,
you doing tonight?
doing
Well,
well. Ready to rock and roll, man. Game
yeah,
time, show time. Let's go.
that's what I'm talking about. And here she is, Coach K. And the show is titled The Corner Truth. And
Hey,
low cat,
hey,
hmm
have a
hey,
nice
hey.
show. Everybody enjoy yourself. I'm going to get out the way.
All right. Well,
Let's
welcome
go.
now.
All right,
Welcome
Coach
to the
K.
corner. Yes, welcome to the Corner Truth. I'm Coach K. My co-host is none other than Dr. Kenneth Gray, aka Coach Gray. And the Corner Truth is where we are here to provide you with nothing but truth. So tonight, Coach, you and I are going to have a conversation centered around trauma. But before we get started, there's a
hmm
disclaimer I want to make. So, again, like I said, we bring nothing but the truth, but our opinions and perspectives are not necessarily reflective of those of the legends from the past and future. All right. So, without further ado,
hmm
let's go. Let's rock and roll. So, Coach Gray, hopes
Yeah.
tonight is that we will sow seeds that will promote healing and change in our viewers. So I'm going to kick this off. First of all, before we
hmm
do, for those of you who don't know me, I am a mindset life coach, a motivational speaker, and an author. So very quickly, Coach Gray, tell the viewers who you are.
Well, if those for those who don't know, I'm Kenny Gray, Coach Dr. Gray. For those in the area in Anne Arundel County, Chestnut, that's who I am. So yeah, I've been around, working in the community with a lot of mentorship, giving back in many ways, doing a lot of God's work, and long as it's God's work, I'm okay with it. So that's who I am.
I love it. We serve the community in different aspects, but the commonality is we are all about community. So we're going to kick this conversation off tonight with discussing trauma because there's
That's
so
right.
much that's taking place in the world right now that's affecting a lot of people mentally, physically, and emotionally. So I'm going to start a little bit with myself. You and I
Yep.
spoke the other day, Coach
Yep.
Gray, and I have been in this funk, if you will, for several months now.
hmm hmm
And I couldn't pinpoint what was
hmm
going on. It's like I just kind of lost myself. And I'm like, what is going on? I'm out here coaching people and
Right.
and now I'm stuck and I can't see my way out of it. And then last night I had an epiphany. I was
hmm
like, I get it. I understand what's going on. And it goes
hmm
back to what you and I were discussing last week on the show, how all lives in the human ecosystem are parallel, right? So I made the analogy that
Yeah.
because you're a
hmm
surgeon, doesn't mean that you don't know how to perform surgery. But let's say you had to perform back surgery, right? And you needed back surgery. You can't perform that surgery on yourself. You need someone to cover your back. So that's the space
That's
that
right.
I'm in. I need someone to cover my back.
hmm
And what I realized was this was so profound, coach, was that I had put a lot of effort into counteracting my thoughts, right? But I didn't
hmm
work the body because you and I both know that whatever the mind believes, the body follows. And so they both work
Sure.
together.
Sure.
Now, I was great counteracting the thoughts, but what happens is I've experienced a lot of trauma over the last year. And again, I've done very well
hmm
counteracting the thoughts, but it hit me last night that that body, that trauma I had embodied it and I didn't release it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I work a lot on regulating my nervous system. And for those who are
Mm-hmm.
unaware, a dysregulated nervous system looks like you're a little bit all over the place. You're easily agitated, you're yelling, you have anxiety, a bit of depression, you may have migraines, headaches. Those are all symptoms of a dysregulated nervous system. And so again,
Mm-hmm.
last night, I never released that trauma from my body. And so that's something
Mm-hmm.
that neuroscience recommends that we do. We release it from the body. And that may look like certain types of therapies, coaching,
Mm-hmm.
to get rid of that physical embodiment, breathing exercises, and
Mm-hmm.
yoga, right? So that being said, it is absolutely okay to not be okay. The danger
Yeah.
in not being okay is not doing anything about it. We cannot
Right.
wallow in our not being okay. So now
Right.
that I have the knowledge, because what good is knowledge if there's no application? Now that I have the
Right.
knowledge, I have to put action behind it to get me back to being myself. And
Mm-hmm.
it all goes back to being that little girl in me. I need
Mm-hmm.
to create a safe space for her so that she can come back out to the world. Because let's think about the word healing. In the definition of the word healing, it starts off with the two words, it's a process, the process, the process. So that means that healing doesn't take place overnight. It can take a lifetime, it can take
Mm-hmm.
years. And the
Mm-hmm.
one thing to remind myself is we are all tree people. And that means that each of us bear fruit. Now, it just may take time, sometime longer for some than it will others. And one of the things that I was quickly reminded of, Coach, was the ginkgo tree. The ginkgo tree takes 20 to 30 years to bear fruit. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what happens when we go through a healing process.
Mm-hmm.
We must go through the process. We can sit
Right.
down and, okay, because we have self awareness, doesn't mean that we've been transformed. It
Mm-hmm.
means that there's a temporary fix and we put a band aid on something until
Sure.
it starts to clear itself again. So,
Mm-hmm.
again, we have to allow ourselves to go through the process. And I
Right.
realized that I had to release myself from all the pressures, extend myself grace,
Mm-hmm.
and now I got to get up and get back into action and be who she is. That book that Armand just showed you, I wrote a book, guys, called Be Who She Is. And it's all
Mm-hmm.
about getting in touch with your little girl. And it goes for men as well. You guys have to get in touch with your younger selves as well, because until you create that safe space for you to be your authentic self, your healing will not take place and
Right.
you will be trying to go through your process. So, what
Right.
say ye about what I just said?
Well, I mean, you've said a lot, but really, if you really take a look, listen to everything you said from the process,
Mm-hmm.
well, there's a thing where that 30-year uh, tenure for that tree is on time. It's on time,
Absolutely.
but it's
On time.
God's time or the time for that particular tree, right? So
Mm-hmm.
most of us, we have a mask on. It's called masking, where you
Yes.
said earlier, it's okay to not be okay. But if I'm smiling at you and every day I wear that smile, that's my mask for you. It's for what
Mm-hmm.
I'm showing you so that you don't understand, you don't know what's going on with me. So
Absolutely.
in order for me to let the process or have the process of healing happen, I have to confess it. I have to talk about it to someone
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
if I want help from, if I'm seeking help from someone. If I can't help myself, it's dark. It's a dark place when you're talking about mental health and trauma. It's a very dark place. So we have
Mm-hmm.
to, it's like Michael Jackson said, the man in the mirror. You got to deal with that man or that woman in the mirror first. Then the
Mm-hmm.
process of healing will manifest itself. So yes, you have times where you meditate, times you go to the gym, times
Mm-hmm.
take naps. Those are tactics that we try to use to have some type of normalcy or some type of consistency. But at the same time, in that dark place, where's the light? It's hard to find the light. We're
It
seeking
seems like
help.
it's hard. Yeah. It seems like
Yeah.
it's hard, but the light really isn't that hard to find. It just takes the light bulb to go off. And once
Mhm.
that light bulb goes off, we have to respond. We cannot delay the response, because when we
Mhm.
delay the response, we will delay the process. Right. So,
Right.
what would you say to, oh, you said one key word: rest is very key. Rest
Mhm.
is essential. We have so many
Essential.
people
Sure.
out here on the grind these days. I got to get this, I got to
Mm.
get that. I'm on the grind. I don't have
Fast,
time. Every
fast food, fast
yeah,
everything. No
that's the
time to.
same thing.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
It's the same
So
thing
it's
with the
it's
process. Hold on one
yeah. You're
second. It's
talking
the
about
same thing
self.
with the process. It's not microwavable, right? So
Hmm.
it takes time. And one of
Right.
the things that we need is rest. We
Hmm.
need rest to rejuvenate the mind, to rejuvenate the brain, our immune system. And that's
Yes.
one of the things the world seems like it's lacking. We're on
Hmm.
go, 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 go. So what would be your advice to, so for me, it's easy for me, of course, naturally to speak to women. What would you
Mm.
say to
Mm.
a man who may find themselves in a dark situation? Because most times men are, you guys are macho. You're like, okay, I'm good. I'm okay. I don't need to talk to
Hmm.
nobody. You know,
Hmm.
I, I'm good.
Well,
What would you say to?
that was yeah, but that was given to us as kids, as boys, young boys. Well, men don't cry. Well, I'm not a man at 5. I'm not a man
Mm,
at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm still a boy. I'm still a child, right? There's a thing that oh, man up. I don't know what a man is. No one's
mhm,
taught me to be a man. And even when I grow up to be old enough, as they say, I'm 21 years old now. I'm a man or 18. But who taught me that? Who cultivated me? Girls, we taught you guys. Or they were taught you're princesses. You don't act this way. This ladylike, right? You've gotten that from a young age. No one has told that to a young boy. No one. Right? So we now take these childhood traumas and try to make sense of what a man is, right?
mhm,
We just don't know. Um,
mhm,
and coming from different walks of life and communities and states, it's just a different place to Baltimore, New York. It's a thing to be from
mhm,
Baltimore or New York, right? It's a
mhm.
thing.
A DC.
So
Mhm.
yes.
Whole thing.
So
Mhm,
what I say to men is is this. Well, you have to open your mouth if you need some help. And that's the hardest thing for us to do. It's the hardest thing for us to do is say, I, the man, need help. Who
So
would we never?
why do you think that is? So let's unpack that a little bit. So I mentioned earlier about speaking to myself that, hey,
Mhm,
I must release the
mhm.
pressure.
Right.
It's the same thing with men. How do
Mhm,
you release the pressure? How do you begin to help another man unpack? Like what you just said, the same thing applies to women in essence. Like we were taught how to respond, what to eat, what our body shape should look like,
mhm, mhm,
dictated by society,
mhm,
dictated by our parents. We've been surrounded by dictators all of our lives. We've been
mhm,
programmed, conditioned. to be who we are, which
Right.
that's what prompted me to write the book, Be Who She Is. But
Mhm.
again, that goes for men too. You
Sure.
cannot be your authentic self if you have not tapped into your childhood, because a lot of our childhood was taken away from us because we our lives were already mapped out for us by our
Well,
parents.
I think most men would reach out to a companion, a woman, their wife, their
Mhm,
girlfriend, before they reach out to another man. Okay, because then there's this judgment zone, this judgment thing of
mhm,
what a man is: weak, punks, all that, and we can go there as men. Trust me, you know. But again, if I'm going to talk to someone, and hopefully someone sees me, is who I'm most vulnerable to. That's probably
mhm,
my wife, someone that I think that I could talk to like a mother, right? So I could
mhm,
always go to my mother and talk about some things, but there's some things I didn't want my mother to know. So we
mhm,
find the other, who's a woman, 9 times out of 10, a companion, and we talk about things, pillow talk or whatever. They may know more
mhm,
secrets about me as a man, but the other man, my brothers, would never know. I wouldn't go to my brothers and talk like that, right? I may have a
mhm.
best friend that it'd take a long time to process. How many years have I known him? How much, how do I trust him? So it's all about that trust as well. So it's not like it's not there. It's just you have to realize, as men, we are closed. We are closed. A lot of men are just closed up, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's a hard walk that we have to, face first, the man in the mirror. So the spiritual side, I know I seek a lot of spirituality. God, who am I? What's my
Mhm,
identity? What's my purpose here? Right.
mhm,
And coaching and sports has always been an escape for me, right? Escape.
mhm,
But that doesn't
mhm,
mean I don't have
mhm.
issues. But I
Yes,
know where to go to. Yeah.
I love that. I love that you
Mhm.
mentioned escape. So I'm going to put a pin in that right there and ask, what would you say to the man who doesn't feel safe being vulnerable with this partner and he bottles everything up? What would you recommend to that type of individual or that type of male?
Well, the thing about it is you have to start the process to be vulnerable. And if you start talking and what you say comes back as a weapon against you, you're not going to open
Hmm.
up any. Okay, so if
Absolutely.
I say something to you in secrecy, but you take it and beat me over my head with it, you're the last person I'm going to talk to.
Hmm.
I'll find another person somewhere else. It happens all the time.
It does.
So all the time. So I have a funny story. It's not funny, but it's the thing that of reality. When I saw uh, my brother go through some stuff, right? I saw the chaos. I saw the trauma, but then I also saw
Hmm.
the peace. And I'm
Hmm.
looking at this thing, this picture, like, wait a minute, it's like this. And when he told me, when I saw the peace was the woman, but it was also a
Hmm.
woman giving him the chaos. So
Hmm.
so there's a balancing act in there, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
We will flee, we will
Hmm.
run, and we will
Hmm.
seek. And it may not
Hmm.
be who you think it is to find
Hmm.
that peace. If
That's
you're
very
hurting,
interesting.
yeah.
Hmm.
Mhm.
That's very interesting because I find that it's not only men that do that. Women do
Mhm.
that too. We're
You're
runners.
guilty.
We're runners also. And
Mhm.
in relationships, be it with one another, friendships,
Track
you know,
stars.
yeah, exactly. The runaway bride, exactly. But I find too often where we tend to weaponize information against one another.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
That makes everyone feel unsafe. You know,
Mhm.
we're walking around like we're constantly looking over our shoulders. And if truth be told, we all have trust issues. We
Of
all have,
course. Yes,
because
we do.
you have a relationship, a friendship with a girlfriend, right? Or another, a bro, a guy friend.
Mhm. Mhm.
Something goes awry. And because people do not understand how to regulate their emotions, they get angry and they
Mhm.
want to take years of secrets that you've shared with them and
Right.
use them against you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What that creates so much pain. It never brings about a resolve. I see there's some questions in the chat. Are you able to read some of them so we can respond?
Um, I'm not. I see them, but I don't. I can't. I mean, they're very. Yeah, let's see. Yes, I recognize. No man is an island. no, no man's an island. But you know, what happens is sometimes we use folks as a crutch. They may not be an island,
Yep.
but a
Mhm.
crutch is real, where
Mhm.
you just want some type of understanding that I matter.
Key.
Just to feel like you matter, and someone takes the
Mhm.
time. Then you got to watch the fact that there's a whole lot of wolves out there too. People
Absolutely.
will bring you to the table just to get what they want. Okay, and
Absolutely.
then the mattering part is superficial, and there you
Mhm.
go with your trust issues again,
Check
because
all over.
because
Mhm.
it's just one of those things where we have to be very careful. We shouldn't jump into the frying pan. There's time that you should be in there. There's some great times in the frying pan if you got the right thing cooking.
Pruning season. That's the pruning season. Absolutely.
And you might not want
Excuse
to come
me.
out that frying pan. Just turn the heat up. But again, it's just one of those things where this is not new. It's just right now in some of our lives. This is what the
I
things that
love that.
we face at times, right? Um, you know, my the thing about me was I trusted early, but when I
Mhm.
got hurt early, I said I'll never allow that to happen to me again. So
Mhm.
instead of seeing the true essence of whoever I met who came in my life, I had a wall up. I had a gate. I
Mhm.
had keys. I had combinations. Or I even just turned my
That
back and said, well,
combinations.
right. So,
That combination.
and sometimes you just put a pillow over your head and just say, well, whatever happens, happens, and just wake me up when it's over. It's just what it is, right? It's a sad thing that we go through, but it's really pain. It's a
It's a
thing
real
how we mask. It's how we
yeah.
mask our pain, you know.
But here's the
Because we
thing. I
all,
love
yeah. Go
go
ahead.
ahead. You said you all we're all go ahead.
We're all seeking love, and some type of like my mother, right? The unconditional love that my mother gave me. I'm not gonna find that in anybody else.
Mhm.
It doesn't exist because they are not my mother. Okay, because if
Absolutely.
my mother told me something to do, I have to do it out of obedience. But if someone else tells me something to do, I ain't gonna do that because you're not my mother.
Mhm.
It's a
Mhm.
balancing act.
Mhm.
So
Exactly. It's about reverence as well.
yeah,
And I think that it's not so much as being told what to do, but if you
it's
had
funny.
that, if you had that like with a significant other, okay,
Yeah.
and they suggested something, it's about reverence for
I hate
that
being
person.
told what to do. So,
Hello, newsflash. None of us like being told what to do. And you want to know why? Because we weren't created to be that way. We were created to dominate. That's why we all have issues
right.
being told what to do. And so, what we tend to lose sight of is that we were never
Hmm.
created to control other human beings. And that's why we don't like being told what to do. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, the matter is
Yeah.
how far are we willing to
Depends
go?
on who it is. Trust me.
And depends on who it is, depends on who it is, and the
It
reverence
depends
you
on who it is.
that
Yeah.
person. So going back to the pain, right? I am a
Mhm.
firm believer that everything that happens through us, because as I mentioned, I don't believe that things happen to us, things happen through us, and they happen through us for a reason. And while we want
Mhm.
to discount a lot of the pain that we go through and pull a Jesus moment, if it's thy will, let this cup pass from me, we're reluctant to drink from the cup, but not realizing it is a part of the pruning process, the churning, the
Mhm.
getting the butter, twisting that lemonade, that lemon to get all of that juice out of there, and that's kind of what I see was happening. Oh, my lights then disappeared again. But
Nah,
it's kind of what I see.
you're looking marvelous. Don't worry, you're still marvelous. You're beautiful. Just keep
Oh,
on doing your
okay.
thing.
So this is what I see.
Your words is brighten up and shining bright. Keep on rolling.
I want to continue to push this content through. It's not going to
That's
stop me.
right.
But
That's right.
this is what I see what's going on now with, the whole government shutdown. I feel like this is our lemon, right? And now it's time to get all of that juice out that lemon. Let's show them what we're really made of. We have to think what
Mhm.
happens if the government never reopens. Then what? This reminds me of COVID. When we were shut down at one point in COVID, it became the season of resignation. People quickly realized, hey, I don't need my 9 to 5 job. I can use what's in my hands to make money. I have skills. I can go out here and open up a business. They thought outside of the box. And
Mhm.
this is an example, not to be insensitive by any means. This is an example of showing what we're really made of
Mhm.
being careful of where our dependency is,
Mhm.
depending on a particular entity to take care of us. And as
Mhm.
much as you and I both are all about community, if the
Mhm.
community comes together instead of being this is mine and you got yours to get, or
Mhm.
jumping on the bandwagon and joining in on that narrative of where our government is leading us now, it's the rich against the poor, we could pull a lot of people up together, because once again, we were never ever meant to do life alone. And this
No.
mindset
No.
of
Yeah.
it's me and me only, I got here, honey, you didn't get there by yourself. Someone paved the
Mhm.
way for you, and I'm
Mhm.
not saying that we have to sacrifice ourselves, but sometimes it does involve a sacrifice. But what I'm saying is esteem someone else, help someone else get up. Someone else gave you a chance. Let's not punish people because they're in the positions that they're
Mhm.
in. Let's figure out a resolve. Let's come together with a
Mhm.
meeting of the minds, with the mindset, what if the government never reopens? What are we going to do? How are we going to help one another? Remember back in the day when we were younger, the old what cliche was, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it takes a village to be whole, because we need one another. You have something that I need, I have something that you need, and vice versa. We'll say,
Mhm. Well, remember that we're so quick to get away from. We say the truth, right? We're trying to tell the truth here. Now, it could be my
mhm,
truth. It could be your truth. It could be their
mhm,
truth. It's how you see it, right? So, what I what I was taught at a young age, God created this earth and He provided everything for us before there was a village, before there was a government, before there
mhm,
was uh, individualism, before any of the
mhm,
things that separate us. God said, "I provided it." Now, when we talk about
mhm,
that, is Adam. Okay, when Adam had to do his duty, his obedience, he took rest, and his shelter
mhm,
was a shade tree, not a mansion,
mhm,
not a
mhm,
car, not a
mhm,
house. It was a shade
mhm,
tree. It was still
mhm,
shelter. Today, our
Mhm.
shelter has changed according to how we've lived our lives, right? The same pastime we like to go to the beach and swim in the water. When a hurricane comes, it's that same water that's destroying your land, wiping your
Mhm.
house out, along with the elements that God has created with water and land. So we got to really start looking at. We don't need a government. What we need is the understanding what God's already said to us. I've
Mhm.
provided for you
Mhm.
already.
Mhm.
But the problem is,
Mhm.
I don't want to live in a cave. I don't want to
Mhm.
live on
Mhm.
an island. I want to live in a
Mhm.
mansion. I want to have
I
gold.
want to go through the process. I don't
That's
want to
what I'm
go through
saying.
the. I want it
I
right
don't.
now.
Exactly. So when we take
Mhm.
a look at all the things we don't want, okay, you didn't ask to be here.
Mhm.
You
Exactly.
didn't ask to be here. So who are you
Exactly.
blaming? Who are you blaming for being here? Your mother, your
Mhm.
father? No. It
Mhm.
goes back
Mhm.
way before that. It's God who put us here. It's God who deigned this thing called life, and He called it
Life.
good.
Mhm.
Good.
Mhm.
Right? So
Mhm. Mhm.
we gotta get away from
I
the nonsense.
know.
We just get away from the nonsense and come all the way back to the truth. The truth
Yep.
is everything that's above ground came from the ground.
Hey,
That's
I
the
like
truth.
that. There you
So
go. There.
we don't need the government. All we need to do is band together, and
Yes.
we can do anything. If you take a look at the world, it's because of our togetherness, whether we were slaves and made to do it or we decided to do it on our own. We can do it. It's how. So I was telling this
Wow.
person a week ago, I said, now, if I gave you a knife and I said, this knife, you take it into the wilderness and you use this for survival. Now,
Mhm.
you use it to cut the weeds. You use it to kill your food. But what if someone came over to try to kill you? Now you use it as a weapon to defend yourself. It's still a knife.
Mhm.
It depends on the
Mhm.
intent of that knife. So we have to
Mhm.
look at the intent in which we live and where we're trying to go, and there are consequences in
Absolutely.
our intent as well. Right. So
Absolutely.
I just went there because I don't like the nonsense. It's a whole lot of nonsense out here.
It
Okay.
is.
If we want to work together, then you find like-minded people and do that.
Absolutely.
If you want to be an individual, stay away from me while I'm doing
Mhm.
my work over here. What you're not going to do
Mhm.
is slow the process of what we're trying to do now. You may benefit from it. You may benefit from what we're doing over here. But when you
Mhm.
do, there are rules and there are expectations of how to live over here. And if you're not trying to conform
Absolutely.
with that, stay where you are. That's
Absolutely.
how it is.
I
How
love
it is.
that.
So we don't need a
So
government. The government is
a little bit when I said we need to govern ourselves, that's the government that we need. We need
right.
to learn how to
A
govern
self-government, sure. Yeah. Yeah.
self-government.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. So how do you
Mhm.
think the way, so the narrative that's been presented to us by our government, it's all about division, right? So we're called the United States. We're no longer united. We're literally the divided states. We have the divided states. We're divided. We have the red against the blue, the black against the white, the rich against the poor. How do you see us bridging the gap and getting back to a sense of unity where we will want to help one another? Because now it's
Well,
like we were saying, every
well,
man for themselves.
well, our system was never a system of unity. It was always the system as it is designed right now. There's nothing wrong with the system. The system
Nope,
is
not at
operating
all.
exactly the way it was
The way it
designed
was
to
designed.
work.
Absolutely.
So we got to stop worrying about what they have created. You have to counter it. How do you
Mm,
counter a system that doesn't work for everyone? Well, you go off and you
mhm,
make your own system. And what they're going to do,
mhm,
like Tulsa, Oklahoma, they burnt down Black Wall Street. Why? Because
mm,
they countered the system. They didn't need to operate under America's Constitution. They had everything: rail. They had banks. They had movie theaters. They had everything America have today in Tulsa. But what did they do? They burnt it down to the ground.
Stop it right there, because you know you're about to get me excited. And let's talk about why they went to work for them in the first place. They only went to work for them to gain knowledge so they can bring it back and build their own businesses. That was their only reasoning. They didn't stay there.
But why though? But there's a reason for that too. It was against the law for people to like you and I to read and write. Okay. So when you take a look at the system that you were asking to do for us, when the law said we wasn't even human, and it's still the same law. There are people who believe we're still not human, and they believe we shouldn't be educated. There are people who still believe we should be enslaved. So look, this system is working exactly the way it was designed to work.
Yes. Oh my God, oh Lord. Oh, we might have to have a part 2 to this, because you just sparked my fire.
I live it every day. I live it every day. Listen, I spent 2 years in Europe. Right, and I lived in the UK for 2 years. I was able to go to Germany, Belgium, Luxembourg, all those countries. In Germany, they told us, "Say, listen, I don't care where you are. There's one rule, German rule. I don't care if you lived in the north, the south, east, or west. What you do in Germany, German law is going to come down on your ass." That's the first thing. That's what was told to us. You come to the United States, there's 50 different jurisdictions trying to be united. It's a lie. Call it the way it is. It's a lie.
Let's call it what it is.
You have the right title, united, but there ain't nothing united about us. You can go to Virginia, and that jurisdiction changes. What you can do in Virginia, you can't do in Maryland. This is not the United States. This is America. Call it the way it is. It's America.
Call it state of state.
It's America.
Yes, it is.
It.
So listen, I don't want to get off point too much here.
But it's drama. That's where our drama comes from.
Listen, it's a lot of drama. It's a lot of distractions, because you know we can continue on down this rabbit hole. Because it's all about a bigger picture. And you know, we have some of us saying that we woke, and I like to say you're still napping. You're still napping, because you're not all the way up yet. That alarm clock hasn't gone completely off. So keep hitting the snooze button, but and keep hitting that snooze button.
That you know you're still in the game. You still got time.
Yeah, but you're gonna lose. Like that saying goes, you snooze, you lose. So can't snooze too long. But how do you think what will it take to get us to this point where there's some sense of camaraderie, sense of community amongst everyone? Well, again, we're this gap with this division. What's that?
One word: sacrifice.
Sacrifice.
We have to sacrifice. If you talk about our grandmothers and our grandfathers, great-great-grand, they've sacrificed in a system like this that didn't work. When they called your grandfather boy, and the boy calling the grandfather 60 years old, he was only 16. Come on. Come on. It's power then. It becomes power, not respect your elders, but it became power. So these things we talk about trauma, and we talk about a man couldn't be a man in America if you were looking like us, right? How? So it's sacrifice. If we're going to get this thing right, if we're going to do this thing right, we must sacrifice.
That's
what does that mean? Well, you're going to start trusting me with anything, right? So that's the word. How do we now use that word and put it to full effect? Well, I have to tell you, I'm not going to lie to you. Okay, if I give you $100 and everyone puts $100 in, and I say I don't want the money back, but then I question you, well, where's my money? I just lied to you. Okay. Okay. If I gave it to you and I'm letting you use that money for the right reasons. And here's the reason why I said this way. My uncle said this to me. He said, listen, we're tested all the time. God tests us all the time. A young man or a gentleman, car broke down and he needed $500 to get the car fixed. He said, I had the money. But my friend said, hey, how did you know that man is not using you? He said, this is what I'm going to say to you. I have the money. I'm going to give it to him. But God can handle him if he does something wrong with that money. But that might be my test, to have it and not give it. That's what we have to understand. If you have the time to give, but doing nothing changes nothing. So we can talk all day long. Where's the work? Who's the workers? Come on, let's work. Let's do this thing.
The application, because it's just, it's like I like to say again, what I said earlier, what good is the knowledge other than just being puffed up if you don't apply it? It's like, I love to say this. When I'm so intrigued when people tell me I'm educated. Well, newsflash, no one can educate you. You have people who instruct you. You have professors or instructors who instruct you. You only become educated when you take what has been provided to you or taught to you, and you know how to go out and apply it without regurgitating it, and you understand it to its fullest. Then and then, that's when you become educated. No one educates you. It's how you apply the knowledge that's been given to you. So if you tell me something and I just go out here with exactly the way that
I think
you instruct me. Oh, I'm losing you a bit.
We use that word.
There you go. You're back.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I had to plug my device in. It was at me. Yeah.
Excuse me.
I'm not sure if you can still hear me.
Yeah, I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, my device was yelling at me. Plug me up. Plug me up.
So you left off with, you said people use that
you were
word.
saying you can keep going.
You said people use that word, and then you got cut off when we were talking about educating, being educated.
It's there too now. So
I'm losing you again.
Hold on a second. Yeah, I think the bandwidth is going a little wacky. Okay, keep on talking. I can hear you now. Repeat that.
So we were talking about being educated, and you said people only use that word, and you didn't complete your sentence. Do you remember where you were going with that thought process? Because I was saying that I'm intrigued when people say, "Oh, I'm educated. I'm an educated individual." And
that word. Yeah.
Folks, it looks like we may be having some.
Well, yeah, I see education as enhancing yourself, right? There's a thing called wisdom. I grew up, before I even knew what education was, there was this thing about wisdom, being wise, at being experienced. I think your experience is your first form of education, because if you don't know something, you just don't know it. But if you're willing and you're open to enhancing yourself, then you become educated, right? There are different levels of things that we can go to learn more. Farmers, they probably was a trade that was more hands-on to learn how to farm, and something you did every day, and you can learn the process. Was that education or was that experience? Right now, some people knew the process. My brother said this to me before. He said, a lot of our kids loved to rap. And he was sitting a couple of kids rap the song, but he realized that the kids were spelling out a word with the rap song. But then when he asked them to spell that word, they couldn't spell the word,
Mm-hmm.
but they knew the word why it was a rap.
Absolutely.
But when the rap was known, they couldn't spell
Mm-hmm.
that word.
And that's the epitome of
So
what I was
what happens
talking
is
about.
we can be followers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the thing is, if I sent you down a one-way street and I said this is a one-way street, and they said, well, yeah, I'm going one way, but which direction are you going, with the traffic or against the traffic? It's still one way.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
still one way. But that's where leadership, right? People guiding you directly, truly directing
Mm-hmm.
you before you knew the word one way, right?
Absolutely.
So
That's why I like to say,
education has a lot of variables.
that's why I like to say,
Mhm.
when people zig, I zag.
Yeah.
You know? I don't want to follow your
Mhm.
necessary
Yep.
path, right? So I need to see where you've been. I need to see a little bit.
Right.
There are multiple things that I need to see, but because it is the norm and it is the most popular, when you zig, I'm definitely going to zag.
Mhm.
Absolutely. So let's bring
Right.
it full
Right.
circle.
Right.
So
Right.
we started off talking about trauma. How do we get
Mhm.
people to recognize that they need help? You know, sometimes, and that may sound like a silly question, but you be surprised. I mean, people don't realize that they really do need help, because in our profession, we want people, our goal is to have people as healthy as possible, mentally, physically, and emotionally.
Mhm.
You know, I want to be very careful with the word choice that I use here on YouTube, because I don't want to be censored. But we have a lot of people unaliving themselves because the pressure, they haven't learned how to release the pressure. So again, how do we get people to open up? You know, what's the best advice to get people to invest in
Mhm.
themselves? And here's the thing, it goes back to, everybody thinks that they have to have all their ducks in a row or have everything together in order to
Well,
help someone.
um,
Don't. You don't. So how do we bring them into the fold to get them whole? I
mhm.
lost you again. Can you hear me?
Well, yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Well, how do we draw them back in? How do we get them back
Yeah.
to
On a large scale, I think.
Mhm.
Well, it's first off, it's where we go individually. Me myself, right? If I was invited to come and sit down with a bunch of men and just talk, that's an
Mhm.
invitation. Then I have to either um, accept the invitation and go and talk. But what if it's just me myself, me walking by myself? That's where the problem and the issues are. Is within me, right? So I have to deal with myself first to recognize that I need help with something. I have to know that. And if I feel everything is okay, and we know when it's not, we do, because we can't escape ourselves. All right. If I'm being totally honest with myself, I need some help. But who do I
Yeah.
entrust that conversation with? Who am I going to feel good about opening up about what I need? Now, if it's an open invitation for men, then that fellowship and that energy may just pull some things out of me. It just may pull some things out of me. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think we need to have more invited, scheduled invitations for men to come and speak to men. But not only that, have the women sitting right there listening so they can hear what the men are saying. And then we be quiet and we hear the women speak,
Mm.
because we
Mhm.
might just learn something. We
I
just might learn
I
something.
might just learn
It's
something. And
bold.
so that, yeah, absolutely. So that brings me back to the point of meeting human beings where they are. Meeting human
Where they
beings where
are.
they are.
Mhm.
You don't have to always
Sure.
agree with their world, with the way they process information, with their thought processes or opinions, but we can agree to respect them as human beings so that we can understand how they've arrived at their thought processes and be
Sure.
able to relate
Sure.
to them. And so what happens a lot
Mhm.
is we discount people because we feel like we can't relate to them or we have nothing in common with them. You don't have to have all things common, right? Just the mere fact that you are a human
Right.
being, there's a commonality right there.
Mhm.
Just the mere fact that you have a
Yeah.
caring heart is another commonality. So if we all shared the same thoughts, we would be robots. There would be no diversity here on the earth.
Mhm.
So just take the opportunity to at least hear the individual out. But again, I see so much control going on, and sometimes I think people do it unaware.
Wow. Yeah.
There's, and then we
Yeah.
have this whole political mechanism going on that's forcing people to conformity. You know, it's kind of like we're wearing that hat too. I don't need to control you.
Right.
I don't need you to be like me, because there are days I don't even like myself. So
Right.
I don't want a clone of me. I want you to have your own identity. I want to see
Right.
what you have to bring to the table, what you have to offer.
Right.
That's what I want to see. And I want to meet you there.
Mhm.
What does it say? Can you read that? We then go to that user guide called the Bible. It's
User
on
guide
there.
called the Bible.
Yes, I like that.
Yeah. Well, what happens is how you guide people with a Bible or something that they know nothing about. So now they're going to entrust me to be the expert to lead them. Okay. I could have on a wolf or a sheep's clothing and the wolf inside. If
Mhm.
I'm not, if I don't know what the Bible is saying, and we do have a problem in the churches today. Trust
Oh,
me,
yes. Oh, yes,
we
trust
do,
me.
and we have control problem in the church. But
Oh, yes.
that's
That's
another
another.
conversation.
Yes, it is. Ooh, Lord.
So you can go get a map, but the update just a couple of days ago. Even GPS, sometimes you get lost out there, right? So my point is, yes, we have the tools. We do. And the tools sometimes can be the very tool that you look to help you that will destroy you. Okay? And those are facts. It depends on how you use the tool.
That's
And again, I'm just one like to see balance of things. I like the devil's advocate of it. As a coach, I always set my coaches up to do this for the week against my opponent, but I don't feed them everything. Right? I have them do what I want them to do to prepare my team. Then that Thursday, I said, have we accomplished what we wanted to do? They said, yes, coach. And I said, yes, but what if this happens? And they look at me and say, well, we didn't think about that. I said, no, that's why I didn't feed you that. But we have to be prepared if this happens, right? So that's where the Bible probably have all the answers in it. But if you don't take the time to read it,
what good is it?
where's your guy?
Because you can't apply it.
Where's your guy? With the internet?
Absolutely.
Is
Absolutely.
social media? Is it the newspaper? Is it fake news? Alternative facts? Right? So
Yep.
We're in a time of mass confusion.
Yes,
right now.
and distraction.
What I would
Well,
say
I'm
is,
going to put a pin in it
let's
right
do-
there. Okay,
right.
hold
So
on.
let's do.
I'm going to put a pin in it right there. So I want you to quickly wrap this up because we're running out of time. It's been a great discussion. But before we do, I want you to tell the viewers, how do they get a hold of you if they want to reach out to you?
Oh, me. I'm on social or IG. The Coach Kenny Gray on IG.
Okay.
Facebook is
Okay.
Kenneth L. Gray. Kenneth L. Gray. My email, if you want to email me, is dominantforce21@yahoo.com.
Awesome.
My phone number, I don't know if I want to give it out
No,
right
we don't.
now.
I just wanted to give the viewers a means to reach out to you. Me viewers, again, I am the truth, and that's how you find me. You can DM me on Instagram, and my email address is kbthecornertruth@gmail.com. Well, Coach Gray, this has been a marvelous conversation. I greatly appreciate it, and I hope our viewers have quite a few takeaways from tonight's discussion as additional tools that they can use in their toolkit. All right, it's been a pleasure serving with you tonight, and I will see you in a week or two. Thanks for co-hosting with me tonight, and blessings.
Pleasure.
All right, guys, we are out.